This is The Real Hustle, the programme which reveals the secrets behind the most popular scams and cons in Britain today. Our team of crack hustlers are Jess, the femme fatale. She has the looks and the skills to loosen any man's wallet. Alex, the smooth operator. With his slick patter, he can talk anyone into signing over cash. And Paul, the mastermind. His knowledge of cons, old and new, is encyclopedic. They've been demonstrating cons on members of the public for our hidden cameras to make sure you'll never get cheated again. This is The Real Hustle. In this episode, we'll see how hustlers can make money from your rubbish, rip you off in a shop, and fleece you at the pool hall. Remember, all the people in this show have been hustled for real, and after they were given their money back, they agreed the footage could be shown so that you can avoid being ripped off by the same scams. This is an ordinary suburban house, and this is the owner of the property, Mrs. E. Hornstein, about to let herself in after a day at work. She doesn't realise she's about to become a victim of crime. The hustlers are about to steal something very valuable from her. No, it's not her car or her cash. They're going to steal her identity. This is the ID theft hustle.
ID theft is one of the fastest growing crimes in this country and globally. In general, what happens is the hustlers get hold of basic bits of information about you. They might get part of your credit card, they might get your national insurance number, anything they can find. Then they use that information to obtain credit, i.e. get loans, credit cards, all in your name. Now, when I say credit, you've got to think about debt, because basically they're mounting debt that you will be responsible for.
The hustlers have collected application forms for loans, credit cards and refinance companies. They are furiously applying for credit in Mrs. Hornstein's name. But how did they get her details to fill in the forms? 2 nights previously, our hustler Paul had the unenviable task of bin rummaging. Under the cover of darkness, Paul finds the alley behind the Marks' house where rubbish is thrown. Having retrieved the bin bags, he starts to perform his dirty deed. He looks for any discarded documents he could use for ID theft. And bingo, it looks like he's hit pay dirt. 2 of Mrs. Hornstein's utility bills have been discarded amongst the rubbish, which, as experts will tell you, is a common way to lose out to ID fraud.
One of the ruses that the criminals use to get hold of this information is to go through your bins. It's not at epidemic levels. I don't want you to think that every day somebody is going through your bins, but it could happen.
If you put any bills, any personal details in your dustbin, there are people going around late at night taking your rubbish away.
After sending the forms off and waiting 2 weeks, our hustlers have now received 3 credit cards with a total credit limit of £10,000 in the Mark's name, Mrs. E. Hornstein. Rather than spending all this money fraudulently and ruining the Mark's credit rating, Alex and Jess are on their way to confront Mrs. Hornstein to demonstrate how shocking this crime really is. They have packed a purse with receipts, documents and the credit cards obtained in her name. At the Mark's address, our hidden cameras watch the action.
Hello. Hi, are you Mrs. Hornstein?
Yes.
Yeah, just found your wallet outside.
Have you?
Is that not your wallet?
That's my name, but it's not my stuff.
We just found it on the floor.
Outside.
Oh my God, somebody's... This is all my name.
Are those not your credit
They're
cards?
not mine.
In fact,
How strange.
Miss Hornstein, I'll be honest with you, we didn't just find it, we actually made it.
What?
Well, we've also made this. This is a loan taken out in your name for £12,000. It's been accepted.
You've made this?
Yeah.
Why have you done that then? Can I get a jumper on? Do you want to come inside?
That's all right, we'll wait for you here. I'll show you exactly how we've made things. We use these that we found in your bin. That's got your name, your address. This is another credit card bill.
that's my sloppy husband doing that.
And that's,
I don't throw anything away.
Bank statement as well.
Why is he throwing his stuff away?
So from that, we were able to get credit.
3 credit cards and a loan for £12,000.
Frightening, isn't it?
It's terrifying.
At least Mrs. Hornstein didn't actually lose her money to our hustlers, which is more than can be said for many victims of this worrying crime.
Yeah, because I was refused credit, so I wrote to CNN to find out why. And they sent me a long list, and against variations of my name at my old place where I lived previously, there was about £5,000 or £6,000 worth of debt, because these people that had moved into my flat had actually used my name to open up different accounts. I opened up Harrods account, an Avon account, Grattan's, Freeman's, all the electrical places, and they actually got about £5,000 or £6,000 worth of goods under my name. That I felt like a criminal. When this guy came out and said, you know, you've been refused credit, sort of thing, I sort of said, well, why? Because I knew I wasn't in debt, and you know, so I felt embarrassed and ashamed, really.
You have to be very careful with your own information. If you throw away that slip at the top of a checkbook, that has everything they need to get your bank information from it.
The best way to protect yourself against this scam is to shred absolutely everything. Documents, letters, statements, bills. Never throw anything away, because someone could easily go into your bin and take it, like we did.
Yeah, well, I did.
Jess and Paul are out for a stroll, but they appear to be lost.
Should we just ask someone?
Excuse me, do you know this area at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit lost. We're trying to find the nearest tube station. We were over there a little while ago, but we haven't seen one. Any ideas?
You need to go, the nearest one is down the road and turn first left.
First left over here?
Uh-huh.
All right, thank you very much.
you.
Thank you.
Obviously, they weren't really lost, and you've just witnessed a crime. Paul and Jess just pulled the map scam. So let's take another look on our hidden cameras.
You smile. I got one on the left.
Paul and Jess approached the lady at the table pretending to be lost.
I don't know. We've probably walked past 2 of them.
Should we just ask someone?
Excuse me, do you know this area at all?
Watch how Paul spreads his map all over her table and shields his hand grabbing her phone. Before she's even given them directions, he's dropped the phone into Jess's waiting bag.
Let's go, the nearest one is down the road.
Now the hustlers wait for the directions, and once they've been given, they're on their way to look for the next mark who may have left anything valuable out on the table.
Now we should call somebody.
If you're sitting there having a coffee, there's your phone and your sunglasses, and the next minute they're not there, you're not going to realise straight away. Why? Because you're not focusing on that at that time. You're not going to notice something like that going. You're going to notice it when you have to pay, when you have to leave, when you have to get up or make a phone call. And by then, they're long gone. Long gone.
Alex, Paul and Jess have hit the streets, each armed with a sob story to test the public's gullibility and generosity. They are recreating a scam practiced across the country by con artists. It's one of the most simple but effective hustles. It is the sob story scam. Alex is armed with a classic story used by fake beggars worldwide. He's playing the posh gentleman who is far too well off to be a real beggar. He's picked an overpass near a busy railway station as his location. He needs it to make his fake story work.
Can I ask you something? I'm wondering if you can help me. It's a bit embarrassing. Sorry, do you mind?
Where do you want to go? Where's that quick? I'm in a hurry. Where do you want to go?
I need to go to Guildford.
Guildford, yeah?
Yes, and I've had everything on me nicked.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't spare £1 or something?
Sorry, no.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Paul is across town in a busy car park. He's armed himself with a different type of prop to loosen the public's purse strings. He's playing an unfortunate motorist who's run out of both petrol and money on the same day.
Excuse me? Yep. Do you know there's a petrol station nearby?
The nearest one is down the Pally.
How far is that?
It's about 10 minutes walk.
I hate to trouble you, but I've run out of petrol and I've lost my wallet on the same morning. You couldn't help me, could you?
I'm sorry, I haven't got a penny.
Yeah, I wish. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I hate to trouble you. You seem really nice. I've run out of petrol and come out with no money. If I could pay you...
Whilst Paul struggles to get anyone to believe him, Jess has moved into position for her own scrounge. Another person's misfortune is Jess's key to a fortune. She's found a car that's been clamped and is about to put her sob story into play.
Excuse me, I'm really, really sorry to do this. I've got a bit of a problem. My car's been... I've just been to a casting just down the road. I'm from Sheffield and I've got to get back up again. And you know, I feel really, really cheeky for doing this. It's £115. I've just been to my bank now. I've only been able to get out 100.
To back up the story, Jess now produces her prop, a wad of cash. Can she prove that if you have money, you can make money?
I mean, would you be able to lend me something? I'll pay you back. If you give me your address, I'll send it in a cheque. I really need to get back up to Sheffield.
I've only got enough to get back.
Anything, a pound, anything really. I'll need to go around. 50p, that would even help. 50p, thank you. Thank you so much.
Jess has struck gold first. Well, silver at least. Back to Paul in the car park. Is his luck finally looking up?
Excuse me, I hate to trouble you, just I've run out of petrol and I've come out with no money. Would you be willing to help me?
Money, mate. I don't know. I've never seen
you know, I would never ask. I know.
People like that
I'm sure you do. I don't even know. Yeah. I know. I'm beginning to feel like a beggar, to be honest with you. It's just. I mean, anything you could do to help me, I would pay you back. I would pay you back. I take your phone number.
Give me some identification. I might be able to help you.
I'll write down my address. I'll take your
address then. If you can write
you
down
do
your
it?
address,
Absolutely. Fabulous.
Paul manages to gain his trust, and on receipt of a fake address and a promise to return the money, the man lends him £10.
Yeah. Look, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Very kind.
Happy with his tenner, Paul decides to call it a day. Jess is still on the case with her clamp, but with no further successes.
I've just been to the cash machine. I can only actually get out 100, and this is like I'll send it back to you. Okay.
With only 50p in the bank, she's behind. It's time to up the ante. She's trying an old trick of the movie trade, applying Vapour Up just under the eyes to make herself cry. She's willing to suffer for her art. She's found another mark and is turning on the waterworks to try and break him.
I really need to get back up to Sheffield. There's nothing else that I can do.
No one else do?
No one. The only number I know is my mum's. And
Does she not live down here?
No, she's in Sheffield with me, but I can't get through to her. I mean, I'll take your address. I'll send it right back to you.
She's got his attention, but he's taking the time to check out her story.
I've got some ID. I've got my driving licence. You can write down where I live. I'm from Sheffield. That's obviously why I've just driven down today.
So I'll give you a tenner.
That would be brilliant, really. Thank you.
15 quid is...
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
Finally, he gives in and agrees to lend her £10. He drove a hard bargain, but Jess has talked him round and the deal is done.
You don't know how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Jess's total now stands at £10.50. She's just ahead of Paul and Alex, but with the rain pouring down, she's off to count her earnings somewhere dry. It's time for Alex to boost his chances. He produces his convincer, a posh-looking business card.
I'm trying to get my company to get me a ticket to get to Guildford, but they won't let me pick it up without a credit card. Okay. Have you got any change you could spare? I'll give you my card and I can send it right back to you.
I've got change. I obviously need you on a quid.
Remarkably, as soon as Alex shows the woman a business card, her hands are drawn irresistibly towards her wallet. She's unable to believe such a well-dressed man with such a nice business card could be a cynical liar. She hands him £2.
Look, call me and I'll... Are you sure?
Will the business card blag work again on his next hit?
I don't suppose you could help me in any way. Any change you might have. I'll give you my card. You might be able to...
Another quick flash of the card and the man is reaching for his wallet.
I'll have them send it to you straight away.
He hands over £6 towards the fare.
Thank you. Thank you for your help. Bye-bye.
With his trusty business card working a treat, Alex tries one more hit.
Give them a call, they'll send you the money straight away. You're Justin, are you? That's right, my name's Justin. If that's at all possible for you, I would really appreciate it. Well, anything you can spare will be fine. 4 quid? That'll be more than kind, more than generous. Yes, very generous of you. Thank you.
Result, he scored another 4 quid and has beaten the others with his total of £12. Not bad for an hour's work. At that rate, he'd be earning nearly £500 a week, tax-free. Jess, Alex and Paul are at this bar to shoot some pool and size up their next hustle. They've got a scam up their sleeve and are looking for a local punter to test with a pool proposition bet.
Right, well, I got a shot for you to try. Okay, it's quite simple.
Jess has homed in on a mark.
I want to see if you can pop the red ball into the pocket using the white ball without touching the green ball, without touching the cushions. Think you can do it?
So, Jess is proposing a shot where the cue ball pots this red ball without touching this green ball, and he can't touch the cushions either.
It looks pretty difficult. I'll give it a go.
Do you want to give it a go?
I'll give it a go.
Go on then.
The shot sounds a little tricky, but our mark seems quite confident.
No?
Well, I did say you weren't allowed to use the cushions.
Of
For a
course.
start.
Do you want me to do it again?
You can have another go,
Yeah?
but...
I forgot that bit.
I
I'm
know
sorry.
you did.
I forgot
It's
that
okay.
bit. Suppose I can try a jump. No?
No.
I don't think I can do it, to be honest.
No?
He can't make the shot. It's down to Jess to show him how it's done. But will he take the bet?
Do you think I can do it?
I doubt it very much.
Okay, well, let's see.
Pleasantly surprised if you
How
can.
much would you be willing to bet?
I'll bet you a £5.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Come on then, put your money on the
Okay.
table. I've got a £5. Okay. Ready?
Now, Jess didn't rule out using the triangle to take this shot.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
She places the triangle between the green and the red ball. Now, when she strikes the cue ball, it knocks the triangle forward just enough to pop the red into the pocket, whilst the green ball remains safe inside the triangle.
And I'll see you later.
Thank you very much.
An easy win for our hustler, and our mark seems a little hard done by.
Well, in any normal table game like pool or snooker, you can't lay the triangle on the table and use it as a tool for the game. So I'd say I was pretty well cheated, yeah.
This is an ordinary English £20 note. We earn them and we spend them. And once spent, the money's gone for good, right? Well, not exactly. Here's how £20 can be turned into £30, £40 or even £50 by a ruthless con artist. This is the change-raising con.
The idea of change raising is to take a quantity of money, let's say it's a £20 note, and then change it into 30 or 40 pounds by confusing somebody into giving you more money than they intended. And the idea is to get them to do 2 transactions at the same time rather than just one and then the next one. And what happens in the middle is they think everything is fine, but they've accidentally given you more money than they should.
Hustlers like Alex can pull the change-raising con at any shop or bar which is prepared to give them change for a 20. This scam has even been pulled by the cynical con artist at charity shops. Alex starts by asking for change for a £20 note.
Really sorry to bother you, but could you give me change for a 20?
Yes, possibly.
Possible.
Let me have a look.
The shopkeeper kindly helps him out.
What are you looking for?
That's great. Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I do. Silly me, I do actually have some change. Could I? That's going to be a bit too much. Could I give you this for a 10? Yeah?
No.
Just that for a 10? That'd be great. Actually, one might want to count that, because I think I've got some...
It's only 4.
Is it? 4 and... oh, so that's 9.
That's 9.
I'll tell you what, seeing as I've got change already, I'll take my 20 back. That's 9, that's £10 and another 10.
Okay.
Happy?
I'm happy.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
So, that was surely confusing, but how was it a scam? Alex arrived with £20 and asked for it to be changed. Then he changed his mind and left the shop with his original £20. Correct? Wrong. He actually just ripped off the shop's till for £10. Here it is again. At the moment, Alex has given the shopkeeper a £20 note and she's given him £20 in change. They are even. But the whole con starts when Alex says he's already got enough change.
Believe me, I do actually have some change. Could I? That's going to be a bit too much. Could I give you this for a 10? Yeah?
No.
Just that for a 10?
So Alex swaps £10 of change for a £10 note, and he has the other tenner in his pocket. He still has £20 in total.
Actually, one might want to count that.
As part of the ruse, Alex has shortchanged the woman to confuse her.
Is it? 4 and... oh, so that's 9.
That's 9.
I'll tell you what, seeing as I've got change already, I'll take my 20 back. That's 9, that's £10 and another 10.
Look at what Alex is about to do. That £10 on the counter belongs to the shop. The £10 note in Alex's hand belongs to Alex. By putting them together and asking her to change the lot for a £20 note, Alex is stealing £10 of the shop's money.
Happy?
I'm happy.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Cheers.
He came in the shop with a 20, she's just given him a 20, and he still has the tenner in his pocket. He's made a sly £10.
Bye-bye.
And is off out of the shop before the lady can work out what happened. Still confused? That's why this is such an easy scam to fall for.
And what's happened is you haven't completed the first part of the transaction. You've only completed half of it. And by asking you to do one more transaction, you're losing out.
The strange thing about this is even if someone tells you that they're going to demonstrate a change-raising technique, when they go through the process, most of the time you won't even realise how they got more money out of you.
How many times have you ever played the games at the fairground? And how many times have you ever seen anyone walk off with the biggest prize on the stall? If the answer is never, our real hustlers have come to the fairground to show you why.
If you go to Brighton Pier or Blackpool, these games are often monitored, so people are making sure that they're fair for you. So there is a chance of winning. Although one of my favourite stories is that some of these games are so unfair in some places that they actually hire people to carry great big soft cuddly toys around. So people think, oh, I want one of those. And they go and try and find that stand.
Paul's fairground stall is a classic.
Right.
It's Tin Can Alley. The rules are simple.
Pound.
6 tin cans are stacked in a pyramid. The punter is given 3 beanbags and has 3 tries at knocking the cans off the shelf. If he succeeds, he wins a prize.
So close.
Sounds fair? Actually, Paul's version of the game is far from fair.
Shut. Pound.
Besides the obvious challenge of knocking all the tins off the shelf,
I hit the tins in the middle.
which is harder than it looks,
Yeah, look. These things.
Paul has a nifty hustle going on that's guaranteed to con the public out of their money.
If all the cans are normal, then it's a pretty easy game to win. If, however, some of the cans are weighted, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. In fact, you need quite a few more attempts to get used to how to knock over those cans. And in this case, it was fixed. We weighted 3 of them. If they're on top of the pyramid, you can knock them all over quite easily. So we give people a free go when the cans are on top. So once they know they can do it, we set the cans on the bottom, creating a very strong foundation for that pyramid, making it very difficult to knock those over. So you rope them in, you make them think they can do it, and then you make it much more difficult for them to win at all. It's a classic scam.
So, with the heavy cans at the top, Paul offers a free practice throw.
Tell you what, I'll give you a free shot, just to practice. Very good. 2 shots left.
That's a tricky one.
Come on. Yeah, give him a, that's it, beautiful. You want to do one for money? You want to do it?
Yeah.
This time the mark has to pay for his go, and this time Paul rigs the stack. Heavy cans at the bottom.
Very good. Come on.
No chance.
What a surprise. Who's next?
Right, I'll show you how to start. Here we go. Come on in.
Oh, yeah, here comes this guy. He'll do it.
And now it's lambs to the slaughter time.
All right. Here's your balls. If you need them. Whoa. 2 with 1. Come on, you can do it.
I don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this game, I don't think.
So Paul just keeps repeating the routine, switching the light for the heavy tins every time he gets someone interested. And for these reasons, Paul can stand back and watch the cash roll in.
Yeah, that was pathetic. At legitimate places, you can win. Of course, it's never as easy as it looks. It's not as bad as it was in the old days. They say that back in San Francisco at the turn of the last century, when the earthquake hit, the only thing left standing were 6 cans in one of these stalls.
So that's it for this week. Our hustlers have stolen a mark's identity, cheated commuters out of spare change, and rigged a fairground game. But don't worry, all the people who got ripped off were given their money back. Just remember the rule of the real hustle. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
All right, troops, stick with us tonight here on 3 as on the way. Chris Credelli has some more rather cool kick-ass miracles. Hiya! Ow! Oh, I hurt my hand.